So we are back again. It is 2 o'clock. It is 2 o'clock, yes. I just clipped my toenails and drank the rest of my Mountain Dew. So now, what we're going to be doing is hopping on to our friend Comic Book Resources. And from our friend Comic Book Resources, we are going to be trying to read you guys some fresh information. Assuming that, they have fresh information. So now, we're going to be talking about one of the classic PlayStation RPGs, still one of the best games ever. So, okay, one of the classic PlayStation RPGs is still one of the best games ever. That game is actually called Final Fantasy, Final Fantasy VII. Yes, Final Fantasy VII is most oftentimes mentioned as one of the best games ever. Now, almost 30 years later, it is still one of the most popular games ever. Many factors contributing to the popularity, including deeply defined characters, extremely popular stories, keeping gamers on the edge of the seat, an incredibly detailed world of cities and towns, based on fun turn-based gameplay. New consoles, new graphic world. Well, then now you have sprites are gone, polygonal graphics come on. Okay, the first Final Fantasy was released on PlayStation console, giving Square a new graphic image to work with. Creating the game for PlayStation back in 1994, Final Fantasy VII came out a few years later, on the same year I was born back in 1997. That meant that most of the first gamers were again from Final Fantasy VII were from the year I was born, 1997. Final Fantasy was a non-Nintendo game. It was one of the first, being one of the first PlayStation games ever, back in 1997, when this game came out. The previous game came out on Super Nintendo. That one was only 16 bits. The PlayStation 1 was much faster and far superior. Gone again were the sprites and game characters with more high definition. For the first time in a Final Fantasy, Squares included CGI movie cuts when made to feel gamers were watching the movie. Okay? Graphics also allowed players to get deep into the game with fighting sequence, limited your attacks, and summon spells. Cutscenes were displayed in the game and how powerful you were. Many who played this game for the first time when initially released remembered the feeling of gleeful awe every time they watched one of their super strong attack scenes. It's unforgettable to note that this left a significant mark on players' minds, which also one reason why the game instantly became a huge hit to the PlayStation at the time. The deep cut story and characters and souls. Every character has a story to tell. One of the great things about Final Fantasy VII is its intense storyline, character development, and main character Cloud Strife, who's an ex-soldier turned mercenary for hire. This caught everybody's attention back in 1997 when the game came out, and the story progressed even better. Large part of his memory was due to material poisoning, and instead took on the memories of a friend named Zack Fair, who saved his life. This additional character played a significant role in the story, and as he was in Arioff, the original US port translated through Arius. Gainsborough, which is an old town, where the ancients of Cetra, which again powered to hear the planet discover how deeply it was to suffer it. She was also one of the first characters, and Cloud, again, encountered in the game. She also sold flowers on Midgard streets. Along with Cloud and Arioff, players encounter 7 other characters in the game. These include Avalanche members. And obviously, these Avalanche members all are super immortal humans. So, in all journeys together, they save the planet from their destruction. From Final Fantasy games, again comes the ultimate villain. Sometimes human, sometimes not, but out to destroy the world for their own maniacal reason. Final Fantasy VII basically had players go and experience the most of all the evil of all villains to the point of Sephiroth. He is a creation of mad scientist Dr. Hojo from the Sinra Electric Power Company in Midgar. Sephiroth from the human fetus combined with cells and alien being known as the Genova. Now, players learn of Sephiroth's history and connection to Arioth throughout the game, leading to one of the most tragic iconic moments in video game history. The sword killed her. More gamers remember getting a reaction to the point of the game, ranging from shocks to surprise, and outright crying, while very few games create that sonic reaction to the player. Learning the character history and emotional highs and lows destroys the point for Serioth as to why he wants to destroy the planet. This game ticks on every clock for Xbox players. Again, fan included for one of the best Final Fantasy games ever. The only best Final Fantasy game ever. The only Final Fantasy game ever. That was good. Actually, great. Great, yes. Now, most gamers remember coming on marathon sessions for multiple days and nights, unable to put your control down. It takes a very special game to capture this kind of attention of nostalgic. The planet Gaia's amazing locales. Players can travel worldwide from Midgar to Icicle Inn. One common factor of Final Fantasy is the world you come in. Ever since the original NES, the Final Fantasy games have been littered with towns, cities, caves, labyrinths, and players can explore where they go, from every step of their journey. Final Fantasy VII did not disappoint gamers in that respect either. The game starts in the major city of Midgar. Again, Shinra Electric Power Company created the areas to throw Mako energy for the planet to supply the citizens the energy needs. Once Cloud and his friends leave Midgar, they journey on to discover more new towns and cities throughout the remainder of the game. With the latest graphical engines of the PlayStation 1, or this has named PlayStation, Square created excellent 3D math for players to traverse, from sleepy town of Calm to the militaristic city of Junon, to the sunny beach of Costa del Sol, and other locations, playable and noticeable, continuously discovering through many new places to plunder through secret treasures while talking to NPCs for clues on where to go next. The game developed shows how much attention to detail these places have, laid out to extreme detail. Ups and low plates and trains to commute to Midgard to sunny sands of Costa del Sol, to the wintry souls of Icicle Inn. Buildings of each area were designed very differently, including rooms and furniture. This environment, precise to the intricate detail, and the outside of the mountains, grasslands, oceans, and far as you can see. The factor was another reason why these players enjoyed this game. Taking turn-based battles to the limit. Art style and animation made fighting awesome. And it did, because upgrading a new classic turn-bound battle system that took the popular concept from previous 6 games and amped it up to much more better for the 7th game. So by the 7th time came around, it actually was freaking great. And most undoubtedly so. But new weapon designs were also included that make amazing to the ones listed from the most iconic. Also, including the limit break ability attack, the all playable characters in the CGI movie scenes from their attacks to summon creature spells. In previous games, characters were restricted to choose actions on what they used to attack item game and use to defend and class specific ability, such as casting a magic spell and stealing items. In these games, developed added new abilities to characters called limit breaks. Throughout the battle, yellow-green meter would fill up the character when attacked. It turned pink when full, alerting members and players when they release a limit break. The super powerful attack to the enemies. It doesn't stop there. Square made sure the limit breaks were specific to each character. Cloud had sword-based attacks, while Arioth had magic-based attacks, and each limit break also had an animation sequence that made it fun to watch. Another improvement to the battle system was the summon spells. Previous Final Fantasy stories also had abilities Square added improved animation sequence where the creatures were called, whenever you summoned these creatures. And again, for example, they would be treated and cut to scenes that included showing when the creatures appeared, leading to the actual attacks on the enemies. Some of them showed chocobos, while running enemy monsters are complex ones like the Behemoth. Creating a ball of energy that unleashed a massive blast of terror. Warmly welcome the players, these battle upgrades given another reason to enjoy the game. Continuous support along current generation consoles. Square Enix also ensured all gamers play. One of the best things about Square Enix and Final Fantasy VII popularity in many systems was the port that had initial release in 1997, the same year I was born. Now, again, the game has ported various consoles from Xbox, Nintendo, and over PlayStation systems. Each port is still the same original PS1 version of the game. However, as time passed, more gamers gave up to play the game, which has become one of the best RPGs of all time. Not only that, its other video game consoles get the port too. So other forms of technology back in 2015 make it surprisingly ported over Apple's iOS and gave Apple users the option to play this epic game excuse me, on iPhones and iPads. This meant the video game consoles no longer need to play the game, widening the audience of players with fervor. Desire of this game also amassed demand. Square Enix made every fan dream possible. In 2015, a remake of the works, the romantic game would be redone to the ground up, making it fresh. Redoing Rockland's scope, design, voice act, changing battle system, real-time combat annoyance, tweaking the storyline just a bit and making it seem just better. Fans of the game's original version flooded in 2020 when Final Fantasy VII Remake was released. That was basically the remake they dreamed would happen. The remake, the rebirth, and beyond. So, the huge mega continued success of the original Final Fantasy VII on various consoles has led to massive success of the remake of Final Fantasy VII. The success of proper Square Enix has also quickly skewed some of the story, but not that much, by Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. These games are so popular again, theories have proved that stories now shared. Now gamers actually wait as the concluding game has yet to be given title release, regardless of the nature of massive hits for fans. While fans get the final game released, they download the original PS1 version or the current generation version they want. Also, Nintendo Switch, Xbox XSS, and PlayStation 4 and 5, Steam Deck, and Apple OS and Android OS. Many fans can still play the iconic RPG no matter what system you have, and it also proves how awesome it was 30 years after. There you go.